What is up, guys? Welcome back to the 40K Cafe, and thank you, the Mando Gibbs, for the request. So, as for the comment, today we are going to be going over Kharn the Betrayer. Kharn's very in depth story begins thousands of Terran years ago. Before Kharn was known as the Betrayer, he was a Terran born human, and he would go on to join the War Hounds before they became known as the World Eaters. After passing through the trials as a neophyte, he would quickly rise through the ranks and become the 8th captain of the War Hounds. And as many people already know, the reunion of the War Hounds with their Primarch is anything but a joyful event. Upon meeting his sons, the Primarch of the 7th Legion, Angron, would actually slaughter each and every one of the commanders one by one that would go to greet him, until eventually Kharn stepped in. Just like the rest of the commanders that stepped in, Angron would immediately attack Kharn. But Kharn remained unprovoked and did not raise a hand in defense. Battered and broken at the feet of Angron, Kharn would tell the tales of the War Hounds and the victories that they had earned. He did not beg for mercy, he did not plead for Angron to stay his hand. Instead, just recounting the tales was enough to reach out to Angron, convincing Angron to lead the 7th Legion, and thus adopting the name the World Eaters. It was this act of convincing alone that would lead Angron to promote Kharn to his equerry. And although an equerry is tending to provide words of wisdom or calming motions, depending on the decisions that a leader might take, Kharn would usually end up following his Primarch with whatever decision he made, only being the second into battle after Angron. Now, although Angron was leading the World Eaters, he did not accept them as his own. In an act to prove their loyalty and earn their father's favor, Kharn would propose the implantation of the butcher's nails. This was yet just another step that would lead to the eightfold path. Kharn the Betrayer would also eventually end up earning what he would call a brotherhood with none other than the word bearer Argol Tal. Eventually, Argol Tal would be slain, and Kharn, discovering that it was none other than Erebus who orchestrated it, ended up going into the fighting pits on the ship of the World Eaters and challenged Erebus to a duel. Here, Kharn would batter and beat Erebus to a bloody pulp, nearly killing him, except Erebus would do Erebus things and escape using his dark ruinous powers. Kharn is also no stranger to death. You see, it was believed that he was dead on Ishvan 3, but he would claw his way back from life. And again, he would lay mortally wounded after the siege of Terra. Kharn would be one of the first people in his squad to enter the walls at the siege of Terra. The World Eaters would find his beaten and broken body, bleeding out and wounded at the walls after Horus's defeat. The World Eaters who discovered him would remove him from the mountain of corpses that laid at his feet and begin arguing over what to do with his body. Believing him dead and with a path uncertain, the World Eaters would begin to fight over Kharn's body, and it wasn't until one of them slayed another World Eater, to which blood flowed onto Kharn, that he would be revitalized. After this moment, the betrayer would vow that the sons of Angron would never again know defeat. In fact, after the siege of Terra, it was many world eaters that would turn to Kharn to lead them, for Angron ascended to demonhood and would turn away from his sons yet again. Kharn's first act would be to lead the world eaters into finding a new homeworld within the Eye of Terra. This planet would be called Skalathrax, which was also in fact coveted by the Emperor's children. Both the Emperor's children and world leaders would fight on the planet of Skalathrax for the right to rule. In doing so, they would eventually awaken something dormant that laid on the planet. As the equilibrium broke from the struggles, an unnatural and creeping cold would cover the planet. It was this event that would earn Kharn the name Betrayer. For the unnatural cold that would cover the planet would prove too much even for the metabolism of an Astartes. The Emperor's children and the World Eaters would agree to a ceasefire, agreeing to lick their wounds and go into hiding to preserve themselves from the cold. Kharn, in a fit of rage that he would be kept from the bloodshed even for one night, would turn against his own men, calling them cowards, picking up a flamer and lighting them on fire. He would light the shelters ablaze and go throughout the world, slaughtering both Emperor's children and World Eaters alike. No other legionnaire would ever come close to the tally that Kharn would acquire, and he believed that it was the weakness of the heretic Astartes that led to their defeat at the Siege of Terra. I really enjoyed doing this video. Thank you again, Mando Gibbs, for the comment and the question, and let me know what you want to hear next, and follow for more.